Anybody want some chips? I brought enough for everybody. Yeah. Let's see how many I can stuff in my mouth.
Hey, Story. The ocean called. They're running out of shrimp.
Oh, yeah, Rob. Well, Jerk Store called. They're running out of you.
What's the difference? You're their all-time bestseller.
Well, I had sex with your wife.
Seinfeld, two-parter we're doing here. The best show of all time, Story?
Tough to argue.
It's your favorite show of all time, right?
100% it's my favorite. Yeah.
Question, what are your top 5? Give me your number 1 episode. Disagree with us. Put in the comment section. Like and subscribe. I mean, it's great. It's so relatable, right? Like, you find a friend that, loves Seinfeld. Every situation comes back to Seinfeld. All the lines. I got a buddy, shout out Jim Danowski. We always do the Todd Gack thing. You gack? Here's your money. Like, stuff like that. And just situations, man. Like, I had a situation where a girl I dated, one date, right? Her name was Amelia. She was Polish, right? Went on a date with her. Actually made out with her the first night. And he says, you can't ask a girl her name after you made out with her.
No, I can't ask her now. I've already made out with her. Once you make out with a woman, you can't ask her name.
Second date, she picks me up. We're going to the bowling alley. And on her, it was back in the day, her iPod in a car said Milicia. I'm like, which is it? I can't call her by the wrong name.
Bovary. All right, that's enough.
So I hit my buddy up who worked there. I was like, dude, you gotta, I'm gonna introduce you. You have to, make sure you get her name. And he made sure, he's like, I'm CJ. And she's like, oh, Amelia. I was like, okay, thank God. Mulva, that's my Mulva. We all have a Mulva.
Mulva?
Like situations like that, though, right? Where it's just like, they hit it, and it's a show from the 90s, man.
So quotable. We'll talk about it. Season 1 isn't great. Today, this show would not get past season 1. The networks would yank it right away.
If you want to just keep doing the same old thing, then maybe this idea is not for you. I, for one, am not going to compromise my artistic integrity. And I'll tell you something else. This is the show, and we're not going to change it.
But they gave us time.
The pilot, dude. The pilot was rough.
The pilot was really rough. But it gives it a little bit of legs in season 2, and then season 3 is strong, and then season 4 is great, and then I'm convinced that seasons 5, 6 through 9 are the best television ever put on air.
Yes, I'd agree. It would just hit
Although there
such a
are
sweet
some
spot.
funny stuff in the first couple of seasons.
In fact, I hate anyone that ever had a pony when they were growing up.
I had a pony.
Don't get me wrong, and we'll get into it. Some of the best scenes and that kind of stuff.
The breadcrumbs were there. The characters were getting developed.
And you watch it more and more, and you notice little things that Larry David's touch on little things, because he is George in this, and Jerry is Jerry, and great. I mean, just being able to quote it with anybody our age, you can pull it out. I mean, I quote it with my old boss at the country club. He watched Seinfeld, and he's 15 years older than I am.
And what's great, too, is it's beautiful because it's 90s New York. It has that aspect. But it's timeless because all of these things are life situations, right, that are never going to change, at least in the next 30, 40 years in our life, right? So this is top 5. We're doing our top 5 episodes. Our buddy Big Ray will be in the house shortly. We're going to start it with us two, and then we're going to get his top 5 when he gets here. So you kick it off. Give me your number 5.
My number 5 is the Little Jerry. It's just so good. The Little Jerry, if you don't remember, Little Jerry is the rooster that Kramer buys, which he thinks is a chicken, and the egg production isn't what he thought it was. It's because Little Jerry is a rooster.
Little Jerry Seinfeld. I named my chicken after you.
Thanks, that's very sweet, but that is not a chicken.
Of course it is. I picked it out myself.
Well, you picked out a rooster.
Well, that would explain Little Jerry's poor egg production.
And it's got Marcelino in it. It's played by Miguel Sandoval, who is in Clear and Present Danger, which is great.
He's in Jurassic Park. He's in Medium. He's in a bunch of stuff.
Little Jerry. Because it starts with the bounce check.
Yeah, and they all bring it up to him at the coffee shop, right?
It gets a call from
some idiot bounced a clown check.
You're not sending me $50. And then it's also got Elaine and Kurt, and that's played by the great John Michael Higgins, who's going bald. 10 months. Yeah. Maybe 14.
And that's also George dating the convict, right?
Yes, Amelia.
Yeah, sounds like a nice... What's she in for? Embezzlement? Sounds like a nice girl.
Oh, no, not Amelia. That was your chick's name. Celia.
Yeah. You know what's better than prison sex?
Fugitive sex.
Dude, that's a great episode.
It's a great. I mean, and George is trying to make her into this hardened criminal, and she's at a minimum security prison. You got the prison guard busting the table for him. I'll get that for you, Mr. Costanza. Yeah. So that's my number 5.
And just the end too, where they just how much worse can my wife get? It's 3 a.m. I've been a cockfight. Yeah. Like it's just kind of dark. Shows where their wives are at, and that's a later episode, correct?
No, season 8.
Okay.
Yeah, season 8, episode 11. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna see. I noticed in my list, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. By the way,
this was difficult. I'm not gonna lie, this was very.
I gravitated towards the later episodes, man. A lot of people they thought when Larry David left, which is after season 7, season 8, season 9, no Larry David, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone thought, oh, at the time it wasn't great, and then afterwards, oh, it wasn't gonna be good. Dude, these episodes hold up. They're crazier, they're wackier. The groundwork was so set up from Larry David that they didn't. I'd say they didn't need him, and like obviously he's a genius.
No, but, I mean, because the absurdist humor that you see in 8 and 9, that's clearly Larry David's touch, and you see that in Curb Your Enthusiasm if you watch Curb Your, which isn't as good of a show, but it's still a pretty funny show.
That's a great episode. All right, my number 5 is the Chicken Roaster.
Kenny Rogers Roasters.
Yeah,
is that the name
8,
of it?
Yeah, Chicken Roaster. Okay. Season 8, episode 8. So this is a late one as well. We just had it on in there.
I think it's my wife's favorite episode. She loves Kenny Rogers Roasters.
It's great. The idea where Jerry and Kramer switch apartments, and Jerry becomes Kramer.
I'm on no sleep. No sleep. You don't know what it's like in there. All night long, things are creaking and cracking, and that red light is burning my brain.
You look a little stressed.
Oh, I'm stressed.
Talking to Bob Sacamano at 3:30, like
Mr. Marbles kills me.
Mr. Marbles,
Mr. Marbles.
Like, my buddy Bob Sacamano. I thought he was Kramer's friend. Well, he called me last night at 3:30. We got talking. He sells hats down at Central Park.
It's George neurotic too because of his thinking that he's gonna weasel his way into a second date by leaving the hat, and then thinking that she stole the hat and he stole a clock to get back. So that, and then Elaine being she's at the height of her confidence, and she gets taken down a peg with this
stanza. It's amazing. I love it. No, he says the best line is she's got a little Marissa Tomei thing going on. Yeah. Like, oh my god.
No, that is a great episode. That one was right up there for me too. Yeah. So my number 4 is The English Patient. This is also season 8, episode 17. And
really?
What I love this one mostly the B and C plots are okay. George being mistaken for Neil, and then the B plot is really good, where Jerry goes to Florida. I guess that would be the A plot, but he goes to Florida. That's where this number 1 dad comes in. He finds the number 1 dad shirt, picking up Cubans. That's the Mandelbaum, so he's the start of the Mandelbaums. But what I think really sets this one up over the edge is how Elaine hates The English Patient.
What is everyone talking about? The English Patient, it's so romantic. God, that movie stunk.
How could you not love that movie?
How about it sucked?
She hates having to go see it, and she's trying to pretend like she hasn't seen it for everybody, and then Peterman makes her go see it, and just the way she's reacting in the theater.
Everyone wanted to see it. What did she see instead? Was it Sack
She wanted to go see Sack Lunch.
Yeah.
She didn't get to go see
How
Sack
did they
Lunch.
get in there? Did the bag shrink down? Did they shrink down? It's kind of an obscure one.
It is, but that scene is great because Peterman doesn't understand why she doesn't like it, and he's like, Elaine, you don't like the movie? I hate it! And shut up!
Jay Peterman. Awesome. Okay, my number 4 is Biazaro Jerry. Season 8, another late one, episode 3. I just love everything about this. You have man hands, okay? Epic, like, one-time character.
You have a little something on your face.
I can get it.
No, you're missing it. It's higher. Eyelash, make a wish.
I don't want to.
Make a wish.
Okay. Didn't come true.
My favorite part about it is George getting the picture of man hands and getting in the secret society. He gets the girlfriend, and then eventually he learns that he doesn't need her, even though she's super hot and into him. And when he's styling his hair, right, there's a picture of, what's his name? Dennis Franz from NYPD Blue in the background. He's a bald, overweight dude. He's bald. It's the total receding hairline. He's looking at it. He's all happy. He's styling his hair. Just like such a great little like sneak peek into George's like psyche, and just he's all confident, right? My hair, like dude, his hair sucks. It's the worst.
And he went on one date to this meatpacking dance club.
Yeah, and he's in, right?
Yeah.
And he's trying to tell Jerry can't hang. It's like she said dress smart casual. What does that mean? Jerry's like, I don't know, but you don't have it. And then also just the idea of the Biazaro friends, right? That they all are similar. But at the end, this proves that Elaine thinks she's, I wouldn't say better than all of them, but she thinks she's more normal.
Well, I think it's better, too. I think she thinks she's better than them. But yeah.
But this proves, at the end, these are good people. Yeah. And I don't know whether it's that they have brought her down or changed her so much that she is just like Jerry, as, selfish as Jerry, as weird as Kramer, and as neurotic as George. And
100%.
She didn't start off like that. But this is season 8, right? Again, the genius of Seinfeld is that, like, she cannot, she wants to get away from these three that she thinks bring them down.
I mean, in that same season, she can't get away from Putty. Right. And then she's back with him in 9.
She's a mess in that season. Like, it's really awesome. Like,
and I love the three, the Biazaro. So there's Kevin, and Vargas is across the hall.
Yeah. And then it's Gene.
Yeah,
Gene.
What you doing?
And actually, here's the best subplot, though, of this episode that I forgot. It's where Kramer gets the job. Kramer's working, dude.
Right,
and he's like, I'm burned out. Old man. He's busting my hump to get these reports. I'm burned.
He's got Ritz crackers in his
and Jerry's like, it's your 3rd day.
You started with me for. You know this is my crazy time of year.
It's your 3rd day.
Bro, he works 2 days. It shows he's never had a job. Like, he's burnt from 2 days of a job he's not even getting paid for. And he's like, at the end when they're interviewing him or about his, performance, it's like, I don't think you know what you're doing here. He's like, I really actually don't even work here. I'm not getting paid.
Just trying to get ahead.
I don't know what this is supposed to be.
Well, I'm just trying to get ahead.
Yeah. It's almost like you have no business training whatsoever.
It's
I don't really work here.
That's why it's so hard.
I forgot that was in that episode.
I know. I'm saying that's why the episode is so genius. Like all the other stuff, and
he's
then you
knocking down Pepto-Bismol while they're walking down the street. And they run into the Biazaro.
He comes and he's drinking the Hennigans or whatever. Like he's just. And it's just such a great little moment for Kramer, like actually having a job and seeing him. Like
there's a lot. That one should probably be on the list. There's a lot in that episode.
Yeah, there is. Train. Yeah, after I watched it again, I was like, that's what sold it to me. Is like the subplot of Kramer having a job.
The montage set to my baby takes a 9 to 5 or whatever.
Washing his shoes. Washing his shoes and the. He's like, what happens? These printers, they get flat spots in them. Just nailing it. Hey, you are on to your number 3.
My number 3, I had to include it. It's The Strike, which is the Festivus episode. Well, you've got Denim Vest. This is obviously the start of Festivus, which is now a cultural phenomenon, right? You can buy the Festivus pole. You can obviously buy Festivus shirts. When I worked at Elgin Country Club, we used to do Festivus, which was the last night of the big candlelight dinners, the holiday things. We would take all of the change that we got from tips throughout the year. For 365 days, we'd stick that in a jar, and then we'd go to the bank, we'd cash it all in, and we'd buy people drinks at our Festivus until that money ran out.
The feats of strength.
Yeah.
And also, the awesome subplot of that episode is the strike.
Yeah.
Kramer
going back to
H&H
work.
Bagels.
Yeah.
What is it, 10 years? He's like, I assumed all those other guys got jobs again.
Great news. Yeah, the strike's been settled. I'm going back to work.
What strike?
H&H Bagels. That's where I worked.
You worked? Bagels?
Yeah, we've been on strike for 12 years.
Your demands.
Yeah, $5.35 an hour, and that's what they're paying now.
I believe that's the new minimum wage.
And now you know who to thank for that.
You ever mentioned this?
Well, Jerry, I didn't want you to know I was out of work. It's embarrassing.
He's like, you wonder what it was all for.
Yeah.
Strike's over. I'm going back to work.
This is Jerry Stiller at his funniest as George's dad. You've got the boss coming in. Who's going to do the feats of strength? I want George.
Kruger, yeah.
Kruger. So,
well, George also given the fake gifts, right? The human fund. Like,
where he decides that people should come to him. He's going to start this charity. People will come to him, and they have to pitch their case to him.
Yeah.
That's that misplaced confidence.
And that's why these episodes, you start unpeeling the layers that we're talking about. It's like, oh, this is in that episode. This is in that episode. And, like, it's already a great plot, Festivus. All these little things. Human fund, dude. The human fund. Money for people?
The Two-Face that Jerry's dating, and then Elaine.
Oh my God, the
Elaine's in the
Two-Face.
steam bath. She wants a sawbuck on, I can't remember the name of the horse, in the 5th or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she has the 2 guys that show up. How does horse do? He had to be shot.
You're Elaine. Elaine Bennis.
Yeah.
We've been getting calls about you for a long time. All right, my number 3 is The Calzone, season 7, episode 20.
Let's watch that today.
It's great Steinbrenner. It's great Steinbrenner.
And for those who don't know, Larry David voiced Steinbrenner among 40 some other characters, minor characters.
I didn't know that for actually a long time, but dude, the Calzone's awesome. You get really great Newman in the episode where it's just like makes a deal because he gets banned from Paisanos, and it's just like, okay, he's on his mail. He stops by there every day. I would like 1 slice of pepperoni pizza, and like every third day I require a cannoli. He's just like wants a calzone, a pepperoni pizza, and every third day
I think a soda too.
And a soda, right?
Yeah.
And like the day he stops by to drop off the money and it's raining, right? And he's like, I don't work in the rain.
Neither rain. It's the first one.
First one. Oh, I love that episode. I love season 7.
It's got a great Kramer subplot where he's sticking
cooking
his
his
clothes
shirts, man. He starts off in the dryer, right? He's looking for the
great
quarters.
physical comedy in that one where he's falling over in the street, and then he goes to gets in the argument with the Paisano guy. He starts speaking fake Italian. He kicks his foot up on the counter.
And just the way he goes so fast and putting him in the oven, and then like that's a big oven you got there. Like you burned it. What do I know about cooking shirts?
Where are the calzones?
Yeah. He wouldn't give them to me because I wanted to pay in change.
What the hell happened to your shirt?
Well, he overcooked it. It's all ruined.
One of the best parts is the tipping thing with George, where he's like, I only want to tip him if they can see it. And he tries, he gets banned because he takes the money out.
Yeah. So here's a little something.
Antonio!
Sì!
Vieni qua!
Sono qua! Aspetta, guarda! Hey! You steal my money?
So Jerry says, so you don't make a habit of giving to the blind. Not bills.
Oh, I just love that episode. All right, what do you got for your number 2?
This one was tough not to put at number 1 because I absolutely love this episode. It's got Lloyd Braun in it, and it's the Serenity Now.
Another late one.
Yeah. When it's season, this one's season 9, episode 3, but it plays up George's his childhood rivalry with Lloyd Braun. You got Frank Costanza doing his own crazy scheme, selling computers. You got Jerry unable to express emotions, and then Kramer becomes the what's he called?
Lori Loughlin.
Lori Loughlin plays Patty in that. You got Kramer. He takes the screen door, so he turns it into Anytown USA.
Hello, neighbor.
Boy, those azaleas are really coming in nicely.
You gotta mulch. You've got to.
You barbecuing tonight?
Yeah, right after the fireworks.
But the Serenity Now, Frank Costanza yelling that, and then eventually starting to yell Hoochie Mama because Serenity Now, Insanity later. The ringing of the bell and everything that comes together in this episode. There's just so many hilarious lines, and Lloyd Braun, I think he's one of the best guest stars that they've ever had.
The Kramer subplot of just the screen door. There's a little life left in her. And just like literally hanging outside.
I'll give her a good home.
I'm going to do it after the fireworks. And he just has a sparkler. Oh my God. He walks in the house, he has the little chimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sounds of Anytown USA.
Breaks all the computers. I owe you one, buddy. Like
hey, George.
$30,000 worth of computers. All right, my number 2.
You're not giving away my water pick.
Right.
Hey, Braun, I got good news and bad news. And they're both the same. You're fired.
Costanza, you won the water pick!
You're not gonna give away that water pick!
You want to bet? Serenity Now! Serenity Now!
Yeah, dude.
Hoochie Mama!
Again, great. I know you're a big Frank fan, and just in general, George's parents. Anytime you get them in there, they're funny. They're
Frank
great.
and Stell.
It's just
Jerry's
it's madness,
all-time
right?
great Jerry Stiller.
Yeah, love him. All right, number 2 for me is the opposite. This is one of the best George episodes ever, and it's when
got
he
one of the best scenes with I don't know if you call it full scene, but when he yells at the 2 guys that are kicking the seats in the movie theater.
Yeah. Shut your trams and stop kicking the seats! We're trying to watch the movie! And if I have to tell you again, we're going to take it outside and I'm going to show you what it's like! You understand me? Now shut your mouths or I'll shut them for you. And if you think I'm kidding, just try me. Because I would love it!
Everything's the opposite, right? He would usually just move seats or not say anything. So if you don't know, I mean, obviously, hopefully, if you're watching this, you've seen this episode. His life's not working. He doesn't know how he got there. He says every decision I made in my life has been wrong, and whether it's what I wear, what I eat, and they're like, do the opposite. Talks to the girl. I'm George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents. Hi, I'm whatever. Hi, and then like gets the job with the Yankees. That's when he starts getting the job with the Yankees. He yells at Steinbrenner.
He yells at Steinbrenner, and the principal from what's that 80s movie?
How was that? Breakfast Club.
Yeah, Breakfast Club. Principal, he's the one interviewing him, and you can see his face as George is telling him that you've reduced our beloved Yankees to a laughing stock for the glorification of your giant ego. Hire this man.
And in the interview, he's like, I got fired from my first job because he wouldn't let me use his private bathroom. He's like, my last job, I got fired for sleeping with a maid on my desk. He's like, do you talk to everyone like this? Yeah.
It's a good episode.
It is good, man. That's the George episode in my mind. And the funny thing is, he does it for that episode, and then it's never brought up again because I think it's one of the last, if not the last, episode of season 5. And because obviously then he hit it. He got the job with the Yankees.
And that starts some great stuff when he's at the Yankees. Some absolutely phenomenal comedy there. It dovetails into Elaine. This is when her spiral kind of begins too, and she goes through a few different spirals. But this one,
Jerry's even Steven.
Yeah,
I had one friend. He was up. You were down. Now there. It always evens out for me.
Hey, a 20.
Right?
Oh my God.
What do you got for your number 1, man? I'm excited to hear it.
This one is, there's just so much absurdity in this, and it's pretty much a bottle episode. It's the dealership. So Putty has given up the grease monkey lifestyle, and he becomes a salesman, and he's going to get the inside deal for Jerry buying a new car. But then Elaine breaks up with him because of a fight over Arby's, and now we go through the hilarity of George is supposed to help him, but George is off fighting this candy crusade.
Wouldn't you agree he would have no problem picking one out from a candy lineup?
Candy lineup?
I've spent the last hour preparing 10 candy bars. Candy lineup! And you! How many Twix does that make for you today? Like 8 Twix?
No. Because the maintenance guy got 2 Twix. Just because a candy fails to fall from his perch does not imply change of ownership.
How many Twix does that make for you today?
Like 7 Twix? Candy lineup?
Yeah, dude. You know what? I'm going to tell you this. It's one of my least favorite episodes.
Is it really?
I don't like it. Erica, my wife, mentioned the Hamptons. I do like the parking garage. I like the coffee shop, Jerry's apartment. I don't like the out of the normal, surroundings thing. And dude, I'm telling you, we're going to get probably a lot of hate for these lists just based on you have all 8 and 9.
Yeah.
I have a lot of 8 and 9. The next one isn't, but that's what makes the show great is people hate on that, but these are great episodes. I mean, they're all great, honestly. Outside of the first season, maybe second season, and a couple of the duds in 8 and 9, even duds in Seinfeld is better than any show.
I agree. I mean, again, there's some season 1 episodes that
probably hate Pound It,
but it's also good.
Right? No, high five. It's high five. High five.
That was
we don't like Grease Monkey.
I don't like that term.
No, it is good.
I can understand not liking it, but for me, this one is just a combination. This epitomizes season 9 for me and just how absurd.
You ready for mine?
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't noticed, I'm wearing the Puffy Shirt. So it's the Puffy Shirt. I love that episode.
This pirate trend that she's come up with, Jerry, this is going to be the new look for the 90s. You're going to be the first pirate. Well, I don't want to be a pirate.
So you got the soft talker. What is it? Low talker.
Low talker.
George, down on his luck, getting the deal with being the hand model for a day. He's got the life, everything, and then getting his hands ruined.
He was not master.
I don't want to be a pirate. Yeah, just when he's talking about the guy he was not master, he's like, "Don't worry about me. I won a contest," which we find out later he cheated. Of course he did. Everything about that episode, the ending where you have they donate them all to Goodwill or whatever or charity, and then you got the homeless guys spare some change for an old buccaneer. He's really not a bad shirt, and just. I don't know. I just think that the episode is tied together, and that's kind of the start of what we were talking about with these later episodes. That's where they tied the beginning, the end, all the jokes. What do you think about the episode?
I think it's great. It also has what I think is some of the funnier George stuff because it's, again, George's false confidence. He's a hand model. He's at the top of the world. He yells at his parents, and they're all doting on him, or at least Estelle is.
Yeah.
And he just comes crashing right back down to earth.
Yeah, and funny, I was watching that earlier, and Erica's like, when he's getting his hands filed by it, and she's like, why is George talking to his mom like that? I'm like, first of all, she's crazy, and second of all, he thinks he's got the world. He thinks he's like, it's like Scarface, right? He's just, I got this thing, right?
I'll take it in my room.
And then also, again, there's not that many episodes with George's parents, maybe like 20. Just when he finally runs into the girl and they're at that dinner. Did you believe I had a silver dollar collection as a kid? He's just like, Jesus, I have to get out of here. Again, Matrix, I have to get out of this place. All right, so that's my number one. We're going to have Big Ray coming in here any second. He's going to give his top 5, so stand by.
Cool.
Gotta degrease this.
We got Big Ray in the house. Late arrival. He's going to give you his top 5. All right, buddy, let's get your top 5.
All right, so
Try number 5.
yeah, so number 5 I have the Caddy.
That's a good one. Stan the Caddy.
Stan the Caddy. I mean, I love it so much because like there's just so many things going on in that episode. Obviously you have Stan the Caddy, and then you also have one of Kramer's greatest schemes.
Well, that's the Sue Ellen Mishke.
Yeah, Sue Ellen Mishke. Yeah.
Let's sue her.
Yes, yeah, right. It was sewer, exactly, and just the whole thing with Kramer and Mitch the Caddy, and then
the OJ tie-in, bro. Like, have her try on the bra.
Right.
Like a glove.
You listening to a caddy? This is a public humiliation. Of course a bra's not going to fit on over leotard. A bra's got to fit right up against a person's skin. Like a glove.
Oh, yeah.
You listen to a damn caddy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, exactly. Like,
who's Stan?
Yeah. He's just like, we got this in the bag. And then he turns around. And oh, God. He says something on the lines. He's like, you're in the line.
You're on the green.
You're on the green. Just got to put it in.
Think we got this wrapped up?
Yeah. What's your read, Stan?
You're close. You're on the green. You just have to go for the cup.
What do you mean?
Have her try on the bra, see if it fits.
Stan's the man.
Stan? Who the hell is Stan?
He's my caddy.
Your caddy?
Awesome.
And then he turns around. He's just like, what are you talking about? Have her try the bra on. And then he's just like, what the hell? He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, have her try her on. He's like, what do you mean? He's exactly literally the OJ
Jackie
Childs
Childs is great.
So the balm one, the burn,
Yes.
that's got to be the first
That's
one.
early on, yeah.
And that is the first one, and that also has the tie-in in real
and the
in real
hot
life.
coffee, too. He's in that one, too.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'm saying that has the tie-in with the McDonald's, the old lady tie-in, you know what I mean? Like, again, having them tying in Jackie Childs with these things.
What's your number 4?
Number 4, I would just say in general, like the Festivus with the strike.
Yeah.
That, like, the one...
He had it.
He had it on my list.
One crossover. There we go.
I mean, it's just one of the... I mean, I'm sorry, I have an ugly sweater fest, and it says Festivus for the rest of us, and has the pole.
Yeah.
And I just love the episode so much because between Elaine... I know it's a 2 thing. I know, like, I'm copping out with the 2 episodes.
No, there's only a 1 episode one.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just funny with Elaine and and those dirtbags and, giving out numbers. And it has that guy, again, that's a Matt Walsh award guy, the one that with the Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, that guy. And it's just the whole, like, the understory with that. And then the main story with Festivus. And, I mean, that is definitely, for me, just a peak, like, Frank, George, coming of just, like he says, you can't run from your heritage, you know what I mean? And just, and then also with George's,
the Human Fund.
Yes. I mean, that is also, I mean, that is, those three, it's funny because that's, I don't know what, I would say what Festus is probably the main thing, and then that's second, and then Elaine's the third, and just those three together.
And we talked about some of the best episodes are the ones that have all 3 plots intersect and are all good.
Yeah.
There's no garbage, there's no filler.
Honestly, that's
Yeah.
Is it? What are you looking at? I'm gonna spit.
What's your number 3?
Number 3, I would have the Raincoats 1 and 2. Just the whole thing, because with the tie-in of Kramer, Frank, Marty.
It's got Jack Klompus.
Jack Klompus also, who's also an all-time he's not a super recurring, but he's a
the
super
astronaut
epic
pen guy,
I mean,
still right,
right, and then just everything with like the moths and just like so many things there's so many things that just go array, and then just so many characters are in the episodes, that just brings it together really well for me.
And it's a 2-parter, so like I should have put this on there, like, because I would have the bottle deposit on mine.
Yeah, right.
But
And
I couldn't choose 1 or 2, so I just thought it was cheating. But like it's same as the Sunny thing, where it was like Mac and Charlie die.
That's true. I get
the
that.
Raincoats is all time great. Like you said, Pompous, like just the whole thing is
the
unreal.
Negotiation between Jerry's dad and Kramer.
Okay, look, I want 35%.
I'm thinking more like 15.
No way I'm taking 15.
Well, you're not getting 35.
All right, let's compromise. 25%.
Okay, it's a deal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's the same percentage.
It's dude. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
used clothes store.
right? I mean, and that's the thing. What makes this so epic? Like I said, it has so many of the best characters like coming together about something so ridiculous, and it just ends up being an all timer.
Oh yeah, number 2 for you, Ray.
The fire. I mean, that is just for me like peak George of just him being the piece of trash that he is.
Yeah.
Like,
trying to defend
I mean,
it.
John Favreau. John,
you go low. You go low. And you know what seemed like pushing and shoving
seemingly
was
seemingly.
When you ran out, you left everyone behind.
Seemingly. Seemingly. To the untrained eye.
Yeah, right. Seemingly, he's like, but I heard you get out of my way. He's like, yeah, he pushed him down.
You need a leader.
Yeah.
John Favreau as Art the Clown.
Eric the Clown.
Eric?
Yeah, he's like,
hung up with some clown
yeah.
from the 70s.
Yeah,
man.
from the 70s, man.
You're living in the past, man. You hung up on some clown from the 60s, man.
You know, he's like, you don't know Bozo the Clown? No, man. And he's like, this is some gig. And I just love it. He's just like, what? Good. Yeah, great name, Eric. Eric the Clown. You know, what kind of name is that? And I mean, just honestly, just everything with that, it's just so funny because before that happens, he gets to that party and he's just like, the grandma's just like, oh, you must be George. I've heard you're such you're such a nice young man. He's like, oh, you know, I try my best.
Toby, Elaine's coworker, and Jerry goes and heckles her, and they got.
Oh yes, that's what it is.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I'm driving the.
To be honest,
that's one of the
and that's also
scenes,
why
yeah.
again what
You're
we
Batman.
just yes, and that again
I am Batman.
Again what we were talking about just before my last episode, all the subplots in it all sort of comes back around. Besides George, even though George is I guess George is the main plot, and the two subplots come together, and it just makes. I mean, and then I'd be honest, that scene that you're talking about with Kramer explaining like the robbery and him.
Where do you think you're going, crackers?
And then he's just,
boom, pow. Yeah.
He's like, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm driving, and then all of a sudden he's coming in and I'm fighting him off.
And he kept on making the stops.
Yeah.
They kept ringing the bell.
He's like, I open the door and I kick him out. You know, I kick him out the door. You know, and then he's like, I keep going, and then all of a sudden, you know, I make a stop. Because you're making the stop, like you said, you're Batman.
Yeah, Batman. All right, what's your number 1, man? Little drum roll action.
For me, it's the chicken roaster.
That was my number 5.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go.
I mean, for me,
it's my wife's favorite episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Mr. Bubbles.
There's just so many things on that besides obviously the mirroring of each other of Kramer and Jerry and then yes, like sort of getting the insight of being in Kramer's apartment. I mean, it's not super insightful, but I guess just the creepiness of like Mrs. Marble's like and just the whole thing where it starts out like Kramer's just like he's boycotting him, like this is bad chicken, you know, he's freaking out, and then it gets to the point where he just like he can't take it, and so they switch, and then obviously the transformation of them mirroring each other happens, and then of course Kramer and Newman
and wiping his hands on the sheets.
Just eating his behind their back.
You got a problem? Oh, I got a big problem, Jerry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's so funny, and the way that he catches him. That is by far one of the funniest things is when he catches him. He's just like, family feast. Family feast. And then he's like, oh, that's me. And he runs up there. Hello, Newman. Hello, Jerry. And he's just like, yeah. Oh, hey, you almost fried your broccoli. He grabs it. Yeah. Broccoli? Newman, you wouldn't eat broccoli. It was dipped in chocolate.
If it was deep fried.
Or deep fried dark chocolate. That's what he says. Yeah. And it's just one of those.
Honey mustard.
Well, yeah, the fact that he eats one little piece. And it's so funny because I almost think, like, because I love The Office, and watching when Michael makes Kevin eat that piece of broccoli, I almost think, like, maybe they, like, took inspiration from this. Possibly. I'm just saying because a guy who never eats vegetables, Newman and Kevin, you know what I mean? And but either way, like, yes, the shot of honey mustard and just him, I mean, it's just epic. So many things about that. It's just.
I'm glad we have crossover. I have a couple honorable mentions. So my list changed so much. It was almost like what I had recently watched, which is weird, just because I could put them all on here. I'm gonna give you like 8 that I had on here, and we don't talk about it too much. Marine biologist.
Yes, that's easily one of mine.
Mom and Pop store.
Yep.
I love that one. The Rye. Just unreal.
That's a great
The
one.
Little Jerry, which you had on your
Little
list.
Jerry is a great one.
Summer of George.
Summer of George.
With the Man Pete
Yep.
and sharing the girlfriend.
Yep.
And he wants to play Frisbee golf. The Parking Garage is an old one, but kind of like everyone likes a Chinese restaurant. I think the Parking Garage is better. Hot take. Because the Chinese restaurant kind of put Seinfeld on the map for how unique it was.
That's another bottle episode right there.
And then Parking Garage was the second one to that, right? And I like the Parking Garage better. I don't know why. I'm not saying I hate the Chinese restaurant, but I feel like it's overrated.
I do. I'm going to agree with you on that hot take. I think Chinese restaurants overrated.
I have
it's good
the Strong Box. That's the darkest
It's so
Seinfeld,
dark,
right?
It's so funny. Phil. Mrs. Phil.
That
every time he says that, Mrs. Phil,
you
he
have
just
your maid,
died.
maid clean it up. That's my wife. Like,
So
all that.
Hey Kramer,
so
Alfredo, let's cut him up and get out of here.
This is the one I have to bring up that was actually on my number 5 that I bumped. I forgot what I bumped it for, but it's the pick.
Yeah,
just
the
the
pick
idea,
is
the
good.
name of the pick. It was the pick with the nipple shot for the Christmas card. You also have Jerry picking his nose with the
Kramer got a Christmas card.
Dude, it's just
Jerry
great.
got a Christmas card.
Yeah, you want some? You want some?
George with the therapist. It's just those 3 storylines crossing. I just love that episode. The Junior Mint, super good. That was the last honorable mention I had. The Junior Mint. I just love it's a Junior Mint. Where'd you get those? The machine.
They're very.
Do you want one? What do you got? You have an honorable mention?
Yeah, I do. And this one is because I don't think it's that great of an episode, but it's the Pool Guy, season 7, episode 8. It's got some funny stuff with Ramon and the 2 guys. I gotta get out of here.
Ramon.
To see Ramon?
Yeah, Ramon.
But it's because I'm a pool guy, isn't it?
Two of the funniest that intersect. It's Independent George and 555 Phil.
Worlds collide.
Yeah. Oh, right. That is. You're right. That is
If you
awesome.
knew about the world's theory, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it?
Movie phone's funny, but Independent George, I think we can all relate to that particular one. He walks in on the 4 of them in monks. He's like, 1, 2, 3, 4.
He's by himself.
Yeah.
He flips out in the movie theater.
That's such a Larry David
Laughing
thing, right?
and lying.
Yeah. And then also the speech, where they're in the line for the movie when after Newman knocks out the pool guy, right? And they're like, we weren't gonna give him mouth to mouth, and they're like, he could have died. Yeah, it was a gamble.
It was a gamble.
How can you show your face around?
Oh no, we can't. We're
bumping
banned.
membership. Newman too.
Do you have any other? You have an honorable mention at all, or?
I mean, I love the Merv Griffin episode. To be honest,
my wife loves that one too.
Yeah, again, I know it's later,
Who
and
are you
it's
talking
sort of
to? Like,
yeah, right. I don't know, like it's
you
just
got no cards.
Yeah, I mean that. I do love the hot
It's
one.
a squirrel.
I do. Yeah.
You have 30 minutes. George looks at him, what am I gonna do with this squirrel? For 30 minutes?
He's just like, oh wait,
That's
this.
one more thing, Mr. Costanza. When you take him home, he has no home. He's a squirrel.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this is by far, in my opinion, one of Jerry's best girlfriend episodes. So again, intertwines between
He's drugging the girl
and George with the girl running over the squirrel. All 3 things between. So it's like the obscene Kramer, which obviously puts it on the map. But then you have. Honestly, like I said, in my opinion, one of Jerry's best girlfriend episodes of him just drugging her and them just all him, Elaine, and George just living out their fantasies. And that's the Seidler episode. You know what I mean? 100%. So it's again, having all these things.
Tryptophan.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's hard for me to not put that in my top 5, but I do love that one. I do also love the.
Well, real quick, hold on. The best quote from that when he's talking about the rehab the squirrel's gonna have.
Yes.
He's like, what about putting it down? How much would that cost? He's like, well, it's by the pound. So it'll be like George's so cheap, he's just like, by the pound. Like, I'm getting a deal on killing this squirrel.
And it's so funny because the girlfriend that he's trying to or at least I don't know if it's his girlfriend yet, but that girl he's trying to impress, I mean, the deal. I mean, again, that there's so many little things that just pile up to make that episode for me. It was really hard. Again, it was like you said for me. It was hard to not put in my top 5.
Yeah. Real quick, we're not gonna spend too much time because we don't want to hate this show, but there are 3 bad episodes, and we're gonna exclude everything from the first season that cannot be used. So, because we all agree that's the worst. So I'm gonna give you my worst 3 episodes real quick. The Apartment. Don't like that one. That's when Elaine wants to move into the building, and he thinks it's a good idea, and he starts realizing there's nothing to that episode.
But
trying to get her out.
I think it sort of builds the sociopath of both Elaine and George.
It's still bad. It's fine. I agree. The dog.
The dog is my number 1. That's the worst.
Farfel and Prognosis Negative. There's some funny things, but not great. And then my other one is the Puerto Rican Day.
It's also
we talked about this. I think that it's there. It was not in syndication, and we don't know it as well. And it's also not a good episode. It's the second to last, third to last episode, but it's not great.
No.
Honorable mention was I had The Betrayal because a lot of people hate it. I actually liked the episode, but it's just different than the other ones. It seemed like it was thrown together. I do like it, though. But
I like it, too.
Just honorable mention. I don't know. What do you got, Ray?
I had The Dog as number 1.
You can't have the pilot. You're cheating.
But
that is by far the worst.
I know. I mean, it's just one of those things that when people ask, like, hey, I've never seen Seinfeld, should I just start from the beginning? It's just the same as The Office. Things like, there's so many Simpsons, so many good South Park. I mean, we can keep going. There's so many comedic shows that are so good that you can't watch it from the beginning because literally, like, the pilot, this show never should have gone off ever. I mean, it should have failed right then and there. I understand that you said it's cheating.
And Kramer wasn't there. Like, Kramer's in, like, it's not good. What do you got, Story?
So The Dog, I think we all agree that's the answer here. But Farfel's the fake laugh. That's obviously a human. I've got The Stranded. I just think there's nothing much to it, and then it ends up with Jerry getting arrested because of a weird mix-up, and it's got the dingo line, so that's kind of funny.
The dingo ate you.
But hey, I mean, honestly, let's be realistic. If that is all the episode gives, not a great episode.
Exactly.
So.
And then I didn't realize season 1 was out, but I really don't like Male Unbonding. That's the one that's got Kevin Dunn in it. It's just nothing.
Oh no, that's a horrible episode as well.
The whole first season needs to be thrown out. The stock tip's okay. There's some decent ones.
Stock tip has some good stuff.
And season 2 is slow. So we're gonna talk about our favorite season. I know it's 9 for you.
Well, I think it's 8. Like, I think it is 8.
I'm with him. I think
it's
it's 8.
List, and like, right off the bat, I'm like, it's got to be 9. But I think it's 8 for me. It's just so many good episodes.
I'm with him. I'm on 8.
So for me, like 9 had some of the highest upsides and lowest lows in terms of anything past season 2.
Right.
8 is an all-around amazing season. I don't know why it gets hated on, but for me, it's season 7 because
that was my second.
Honorable mention season 4. I love the
season 4
long-term, the season-long subplot of in season 4. It's the starting their own show, right, and them coming their own. And then for season 7, it's the George and Susan engagement. You have that all going on there. You have the the Soup Nazi. You have the what's the episode where
the fire's
you got the Jamaican runner. Like that one's great. The hot tub. Like we should have talked about that episode. Like John Paul. It wasn't the snooze.
You tell that son no Yankee is coming against you.
George, what are you doing?
God, this is awesome, man. We are going to be doing a lot more of this kind of stuff. Check it out. Comments next year. Tell us what you want to talk about. What we want to talk about for Seinfeld. Give us some of ideas because there's so many ways we can talk about this show that's epic. That's literally 35 years old from when it started.
A lot to cover.
Can you believe that?
It's insane.
Holds up, baby. Yeah. It's great. All right, well, we're gonna be back with part 2. But this is the micro. We got 12 awesome awards. We're gonna go through a bunch of stuff. It's gonna be awesome. One last time, check the question. What are your top 5? Give me your number 1 episode. Disagree with us. Put in the comment section. Like and subscribe, my boys.
Nice. Let's go.
And it's been a complete joy.
Little Jerry Seinfeld. I named my chicken after you.
Thanks, that's very sweet, but that is not a chicken.
Of course it is. I picked it out myself.
Well, you picked out a rooster.
Well, that would explain little Jerry's poor egg production.